This morning, I had a realization and a revelation that blew my mind, and it's going to change the way I do life and business in 2026. And I could not keep this from you all. It's been burning on my heart all day long, and I've been waiting to be able to share this because this is going to unlock something. If the past few years you've been bombarded with tactics, strategies, everybody telling you what you should or need to do in order to be the master over your life and over your business, and none of it feels aligned. It just feels like so much information, where to start, where to finish, what voice is true, what voice is not. It's so much. I can remember feeling overwhelmed by trying to figure out what was the right thing to do. Today, this morning in my prayer time, the breakthrough that came about was just transformational. And as always with my breakthroughs, it's not really just in one moment, it solidifies in a moment. But typically, God is speaking to me and giving breadcrumbs towards a thing sometime before it actually locks in. Is anybody else like that? So if you've experienced that, then you know you've seen it, and you see how it just gets solidified in the moment, and then you're like, okay, I'm off with it now. I'm off to the races. And so that's how this realization was. And I'll say that the beginning of this actually sparked from another creator here, Glow. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but she is doing daily videos, and I've been checking it out, and I haven't really proclaimed it, but I'm on this daily YouTube journey as well in my own way. And she sparked that idea in my spirit. And once I, got clear that this is the direction that aligns with my goals of visibility, my purpose, and the things that I'm called to do, I was like, okay, I'm locked in. Let's do this. And she spoke the other day about being devoted to the thing that you're called to do. And I started thinking about that, massaging it, and, continuing to add my perspectives to that. And for me, it shifted the way that I was showing up as I was praying this morning about being committed to the thing that I'm doing, but not just surface level for the particular outcome. And I think she said this as well, but really being devoted to the identity. And I remember that part of her video about, this is who I am. This is why I do it, not for a particular outcome and not by default. It's by design. And I started again just noodling on that and marinating on it. Like, what is the difference? Because if anybody would have asked me, I probably would have said, yeah, I'm doing this because I'm committed, I'm devoted to it. But then when I look at the track record, especially last year, I was talking to my girlfriends about this. I was like, last year, there were a lot of crash out moments, right? There was, just 2024 was great, but 2025 for me personally, there was a lot of attacks and challenges, and just business wise, things didn't turn out the way that I wanted them to, not because the potential wasn't there, but literally because there were just ways that I was approaching things, making decisions, how I was leading myself during that time had some gaps. Okay. You're just going to be upfront. So when I think about those moments, I'm like, if I was on the outside looking in, one question that I like to ask myself is, if I was watching a movie featuring my life and I'm in the audience, what would I say? What would be my assumption? And when I ask myself that question, I'm like, last year, it was not giving devotion. It was giving conditional. It was giving, if it wasn't like this, if it didn't turn out like this, then it must not be right. And therefore, I need to go in this direction, go in that direction. It was not giving, I'm in this in the long haul to see it through, whatever it may be. And when I started to think about my purpose, my gifts, my calling, and even thinking about how far that I've come from being so far away from my calling. I've talked about my career here before, but I had a very successful career. I could have easily continued up the corporate ladder. I was good at what I was doing at one time. I was number one on my team. I could have stuck that out. And to be in that space, creating success, yet still feeling unfulfilled, to being in this space where I'm constantly building, I'm constantly growing, there is no arrival. And this feels very much like wilderness. I mean, to go from such a clear path to now just being open, there is a benefit to that because you can, of course, create whatever it is that is available to you. But it can also be challenging for those of us who are used to mastering systems and structure to be in a space where it's like you truly have to be surrendered and trusting and feel like you're in the wilderness every single day. But to be in that space and still be the most joyful, meaning consistent joy, peaceful consistency, not to say that everything is perfect, because I just said I went from a year of crash outs and a year of things going on and a year of personal challenges. Still, I'm thankful that I made the decision to align with my purpose. I'd rather be building. I'd rather be facing the challenges of what it looks like to be a founder of a company, what it looks like to build, have teams, get more visibility. I'd rather be in this space than to be in quote unquote corporate America, comfortable, predictable, yet empty. And that's not the case for everybody, right? I think there is a lot of discussion online that wants people to choose. It's either entrepreneurship or business. It's either entrepreneurship or corporate. If you go back to corporate, then, all these negative things. If you go into business and all these things and people celebrating because they're going back to corporate and everybody's like, oh yeah, I'm so glad that more people are talking about this and da 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 da. And I'm like, both options exist. Why is there this competition on either side? People who have a job, that's great. There's challenges. People who run a business, that's great. There's challenges. I think the internet has tried to make us feel like one is better than the other. And for one side of the times, maybe 2020, all of that season, it was having a business is the thing. Now that things are shrinking back and all things are changing and people who aren't really made for this are moving back to where they feel safe or just generally being called back to that space. Now it's all about doing both and dualpreneur and this and that. No choice is the wrong choice except for the one that's not aligned with you. Let me say that again because that hit me again. No choice is the wrong choice except for the one that's not aligned for you, that's not aligned for God's dream for you. The easy choice, the one that makes the most sense, could be logical. But if you're going to hate every moment of it, I don't understand why we would live a life that way. You'd be better off. My assumption, this was a prayer time revelation. My assumption is that as long as I'm in alignment with what God is telling me to do, I will do well. No matter the economy, no matter who is in the office, no matter what's going on outside of the world, none of that. And I was not always here in this thinking. Let me be very clear. But now, that is my assumption. So I don't have to look over here and trust me. There have been times where I've been like, you know what? I can't go on and let somebody pay me. You know what I'm saying? That the money that they was rolling, that I know I could get like a drop of a dime. I know I could. I know I could jump back in and get X, Y, and Z. Lord, should I just, those thoughts have crossed my mind. Literally, I'm going to be honest with y'all. Then I always come back home to what I'm supposed to be doing because I didn't force myself to be here. I didn't force myself to be in business. I was made for this, and not because of any circumstance. I left a position. I wasn't forced out. It was a choice. And it was actually a move of God to release me from this, to allow me to release myself from the situation. So my devotion is not to this surface level outcome and this popularity about entrepreneurship. Baby, I had a lemonade stand in the front of my apartment building in Norfolk, Virginia. That was my first entrepreneurial journey before I even knew about it. This is in my DNA. So as long as I'm aligned with that, again, I will do well. The moment I step outside of it, I won't. So even on the other spectrum, for people who maybe you got on the entrepreneurship bandwagon or whatever because it was popular, there is no pressure to feel like you need to align with that either. If having, like, I know several people who have great 9-to-5s who they love it. They don't want to leave. That's where they, not just for the money, but they're designed for that. And that is also their calling. I was designed for it, but it was not my calling. Well, let me say it like this. I did it well. I could have continued to move up the track. It wasn't like, oh, it just didn't work out for me. No, I did it well. I just hated it. I just hated it. And that revelation about being truthful about that and being aligned and that devotion, going back to that piece that she talked about. When I looked at it that way, it just, first of all, it relaxed my shoulders. It relaxed my mind. It changed how I was even showing up with creating content, with even doing these videos, right? She was talking about it in terms of creating the content every day and this just being a part of her identity. And then I took it as, in my assignment, my devotion means even when it doesn't work, I'm still here. Like, there is just this, I don't know, hopefully that didn't catch, that was my stomach growling. Even when something goes wrong or something doesn't work out in the way that I thought it should, there is no quitting and closing the piano because I'm here. It's like being a woman. We go through our things physically. It's who we are. There is no changing. There is no, oh, I wish I was, someone else. Like, I am who I am. And I honor that with my devotion to that. That piece, I hope that you can take away in your own life. What are you devoted to? What are you devoted to seeing the end of? And if there are any areas where you don't have that devotion, if you have to muster it up, if you got to put on a good face, that may be an area to question and see, is this really what I should be doing? And expect that there is something that's been divinely installed in you that is your area of devotion. That's another piece that I missed. Seeing other people and their things, I started to say, well, I don't think I really have that. Like, that's not, I don't have that trait. I don't have that thing that y'all got. No. But when I stopped looking outside of myself and stopped judging myself and saying, I don't, I recognized what I do have in the stillness. I recognize, oh, this is exactly what I've been built for. Because if you look at what I've done over my entire life, it makes sense why I'm here. Devote, commit, get off the sidelines. I think that's what a lot of people miss when it comes to creating goals. I was talking about this with a group of girlfriends today. Goals, tactics, strategies, all the things, even the things that I share, right, don't matter if the foundation isn't clear. That's how you get burnout. That's how you get frustrated. That's how you get an information overload, because you're not very clear on what it is that you are devoting to and what you're assigned to. And then all your decisions to fill in the gaps then are aligned with how you're getting forward to your end objective. Let me say that better with an example. One of the things that I don't have goals. I have objectives and tactics that I'm working on. One of them is creating more visibility. That is a call, that is a direction, and a thing to that I am devoting and committing to based upon what was given to me by God. So all of my investing decisions are around that. Millions of things are being sold to me all the time, right? Different opportunities, different things. And for a while, especially brand new in business, I would feel like I needed to jump on every single thing. Oh, this looks good. That looks good. This will help me. This will move me forward. They're saying this is going to help me in business. Okay, they've got the results, all the things. It's not on them. But when it comes to my vision, my goal, and what my objectives are in this season, I wasn't always making decisions that were in alignment with that. I would be taking and doing all this stuff and then be frustrated. The foundations were off. So I challenge you, before getting too far into this year and just being information, oh, this looks good, this looks good. What is my North Star that I am being called to work towards in this season? That makes decision making so much easier. I've had to say no on some things this year because I'm like, that doesn't align with what I'm focused on. That doesn't align with the identity that I am assuming in this season. So decisions don't just come about what's in it, how much it costs, all the thing, but is this in alignment? Is this helping me create visibility? Is this, one of my other things is keynote speaker. Is this around getting me to that end? No longer, it's not just enough to make more sales. Like that's not enough. We can do that. The objectives are what's important to me, because I know if I'm aligned with those objectives, I will do well. So that was my revelation of today. Assume that you will do well in alignment with what you're called to do. Make your decisions, make your habits, make your tactics, make your strategies, make your investments all in alignment with the objective, with the North Star. And I believe that this year will be magnetic. All right. This was a little different. Bringing you into my prayer closet, into my decision making, into my own evolution of how I'm coming into this new year differently, doing a lot of the same things, because business is business. Sales, principles, strategies, they're all the same. But when you come from it differently and you make decisions based on a clear objective versus just a blanket, I just want to be successful, that's a different story. And if you feel like a part of your devotion is to grow your influence, grow your impact with corporate contracts, then that's who I'm here for. And that's who I'm creating visibility for. And if that's you, all the information on the next steps are definitely in the comments so that you can do that. And if not, you just got a good word for this to understand what the next steps, whatever they are in your journey. I invite you to subscribe, because not only do we talk about the corporate contract space and the strategies around that, but we also talk about personal development, removing any blocks that get in the way of being the best, most fulfilled version of yourself. Because in addition to being a student and a person that obsesses over the corporate space, I also obsess over being your best self, over being fulfilled. That is a part of my design. And corporate contracts is just a path that is on that end. But overall, my core message is about doing the things that scare you, but that are aligned to the life that you deserve to live. Because we only get one life. And last time I checked, we didn't come as a puppet on somebody's arm or string to pretend and conform. We came to be a light and to leave our unique thumbprint on the world. All right. I'll see y'all in the next video. And for those of you, I'll be chatting soon about the world of contracts or about just moving these internal barriers forward. I can't wait. Talk to you soon.